So, welcome everybody. So, what do we got going on today? Today, as I was just saying, a new year, new start. I myself, I'm a big believer in always setting goals at the beginning of the year. Even though I know, depending on who you talk to, some recommend it, some don't. I myself, I'm a big firm believer in a fresh start, especially after the holiday season, all the madness that goes with it. I think it's great at the beginning of January to set goals. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do it a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different than probably what you would have seen before. We're going to be working basically backwards, and you'll understand a little bit more as we progress and as I go on here. But we primarily what I want to do is I want to do a 90-day goal session, and then I'm going to show you how to continue that for the entire year. And in addition to just setting goals, but how to work with clients, how to set goals with clients, how to go ahead with the people that you're coaching to go ahead and set goals, and how to support them, not just in the short term, but for the entire year. So, but before we get into it, what I want to do is I'm going to ask a quick question, and obviously, I don't expect you to answer, but I want you to kind of think to yourself and be honest. Be honest, be sincere. Don't try to kid yourself or anything else. But overall, how would you say 2021 was for you? What type of year was it for you? I know myself personally, for me, it was a really good year. I don't care about the pandemic or anything else because so many people you talk to, they'll say it was a horrible year because of the pandemic and everything. But for me, it was a really good year. But the reason I say that is because I know I tracked myself through the entire year, 365 days throughout the year. I tracked my progress. I made notes. I know exactly where I was, how balanced I was, using our system of personal development. So I know when I get to the end of the year, I know exactly what type of year I had. I've I know I had three sessions this past weekend. Uh, One person I've been working with very closely for the last 6 months. Two other individuals I've been working with for the entire year, 365 days. They have data worth into the system, and for both of them, or all three of them, I should say, they came out really good as well. But what type of year do you think you had? Was it a good year? Was it a bad year? Did you achieve your goals? Did you set goals? It really, truthfully, it makes a difference because I know a lot of people set goals and then they don't take it serious. But I really think it's important that when you set a goal that you go ahead and that you make sure that you do your best anyway. You give 110% to achieving that goal. But if you didn't, if you didn't achieve your goals, and if you didn't, that's cool too. But what's holding you back? Myself, I find, and I'm not pointing the finger at anybody because I'm very guilty of in my past, making up excuses, trying to basically justify it. The timing wasn't right. I didn't have enough resources, or, I got sidetracked with this other thing, or this event happened. But at the end of the day, that's it's not reality. The only reason if you didn't really make progress is, well, you didn't take enough action primarily. And again, I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, but everybody knows who's involved with us here at One Source. Everything is in our system is all about taking that daily consistent action. So what I want to do is I'm going to play a very short clip because I love this clip. It's only about, I think it's a minute and 3 seconds. And basically it's Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, one of my favorite actors. And with Morgan, primarily, he was doing an interview on CNN tonight, live interview, and he was asked about, well, I'll let you watch for yourself, but he had a very interesting response as far as what people are capable of doing.
Louisiana. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are.
Right.
So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
But it's hard to, when you say that to some people, because they say, oh, there you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and, you know, you're just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Well, everybody can. Everybody doesn't. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
I love it. Morgan Freeman, to me, I think is so cool, but I like the simplistic answer he gave, and it's direct and to the point. You know, basically, the bus runs every day. What's he saying is primarily, it's not, it's just basically saying it's up to you. It's up to you to get off your ass, basically, and take action. You know, I'm not saying it's easy for everybody. I'm not denying everybody has their challenges in life. You know, and there's some people, no question about it, that well, they're born at a disadvantage. They come from the wrong background, they could say. You know, they weren't born with the right you know, connections. Maybe they have health challenges, all kinds of things. And I'm not disputing any of it. Of course, it's always relevant. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's up to you. Like, just like when Morgan says there, you know, anybody can do it. You know, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what skin color you are. It doesn't matter, you know, about challenges that you're facing or money. Again, I'm not saying it's not easier for some than it is for others. There's no question. It is. But at the end of the day, it always comes down to you. And when I talk about that, I speak from experience, okay? Because a lot of everybody here, the majority of yous anyway, who are here, you know a bit about my background, but you don't really know where I kind of started off in life. And you know, the truth be told, I'll just give you a brief rundown. I was born on the south side of Chicago, in what can only be described as a highly dysfunctional family. When I talk about a highly dysfunctional family, I talk about alcohol abuse, violence. Both my parents were alcoholics, good people. I mean, functioning alcoholics. You know, they were in the pub business, but they drank every day. And because of that alcohol abuse, there was a lot of things that went on in the house. And to the point where they got divorced. When I think I was 6 years old, my parents got divorced. Truthfully, that was no big thing to me, because at that time, I thought maybe things would calm down a little bit. But you know, they didn't, because my mother kept on drinking and she remarried, and all kinds of things happened from there as well. She actually passed away when I was 11 years old. Had to go move in with my father, myself, and my 5 older brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest of 6. We had to go live with my father above a bar on the south side of Chicago, in one of the more economically depressed areas. That's the nicest way of putting it, areas of the city, with his new wife, who basically wasn't thrilled to see 6 kids showing up, you know, to come live in a little apartment, you know, above a pub. My father died when I was 18, which meant that primarily it was 2 weeks before I graduated high school. And I'm not telling you any of this, to try to get sympathy or anything. No, I'm just trying to make a point. We all have our struggles. But when my father died, well, I was 18 years old, even 2 weeks before I graduated high school, had to go out and look after myself because truthfully, none of my siblings were, even though I'm the youngest, none of them were in a position. They all have their challenges. They have serious challenges with alcohol and drug abuse and all kinds of crap that went on there and still goes on to this day. But I'll give you an example. The youngest of six, my oldest brother is basically really good guy, but he's got some challenges. Really good guy though, smart guy, nice guy, but health challenges. About 8 years ago, he basically was diagnosed with diabetes, even though he had it for a long time. He was just in denial. The way he found out, he went to the doctor because his foot was infected so badly, they had to amputate it within 24 hours, his entire leg, because he ignored it for so long. My sister, my oldest sister, love her to death, wonderful woman, but she suffered from alcohol and drug addiction most of her life. Got her act together at the end, but she never could give up the smoking. Kept smoking, crazy, up to the point where she died of lung cancer, and it was smoking up until the very end. My next brother, drug and alcohol problems most of his life. Smartest guy you ever meet, would buy and sell me as far as business. He went and he built up a business from the ground up to over 120 employees, big money, drove a Jaguar, Rolex, 2 houses and a condo in Florida overlooking the ocean. Lost it all to drink. He still to this day is having challenges. Because of the drink and everything else, and he actually has cancer now, still smoking away. My next sister, the one I'm closest with, she went and she had 3 heart attacks, 2 strokes, still kept smoking, still kept eating all the wrong foods, didn't look after herself. Just before Christmas, she had a stroke again, and now she is in a care facility, lost her speech and can't walk. My next brother, he was a year older than me, very close with him. Him and I, because we were so close in age, well, we hung out all the time. Well, he actually got hit by a car when he was 25, spent a year to the day in a coma before he died. And that wasn't his fault, obviously. A car ran through a red light and hit him. But he had just gotten out of rehab at 25 years of age. So again, I'm not saying any tales out of school or anything like this. Everybody who knows my family knows our history. Good people, and I don't judge them any way, shape, or form, because I know the crap that we went through. But the point being is, what's the difference? Why didn't I ever go through any of those challenges to that degree? And there's a lot, I thought a lot about this, and I'm nothing special, trust me. No way, shape, or form. But primarily, the only thing that I believe that I have, I'm definitely not the smartest in the room. Compared to my brothers, all 3 of my brothers are far more intelligent than I am. No question about it. But the only thing that I have is I'm persistent. I take action. I mean, I had my challenges in life, trust me. But I take consistent action. And it doesn't matter where you start out, just like Morgan says, the bus runs every day. So, and the reason I'm telling you all this is because at this time of year, when you're setting goals, I think it's really, really important not to make excuses. I think I could have done similar. I know people who have it worse off than I did, that they could easily do the same thing, make excuses of why, why you never got out of where you are, why you never set up that business, why, why you still have health challenges, why you don't have money, all those things. And they're all justified. But at the end of the day, they don't make a difference. What makes a difference comes down to primarily consistent action. That daily consistent action. And again, that's what our system is all about. That's what we do here at OneSource. Our system is based on one thing that matters. There's no magic bullet, but it's just a system to support you, to go ahead and help you, to go ahead and take that daily consistent action, because it's always going to be required. So when you're working with clients, when you're working with yourself, when you're trying to go ahead and set goals, when you're trying to create lasting change, that's the thing to keep in mind. Don't focus on, the challenges or the excuses. Come up with solutions. Focus on taking that step, getting on the bus. Every single day, take another step in the right direction. Persistence, don't give up. As Morgan Freeman said there, courage is the secret to life. Have the courage to go ahead and take that daily consistent action. And I know firsthand, what happens after a couple years, after 3, 4, 5, 50 years at this stage. But again, the reason I even talk about that, and again, I'm not saying I'm anything special, because I'm not any way, shape, or form. But that's the one thing that I learned along the way. And I didn't learn it overnight. It took a while. But it all comes down to that daily consistent action. And everything that we're doing here at OneSource, if you look at your dashboard, if you look at the way that everything is set up, it all comes down to that consistent action. So what I want to do now is I want to get stuck in, and I'm going to give you what I believe before we actually get into the goal setting. But I just want you to go ahead and take some notes, and I'm going to go over what I believe are the 5 top tips when you're setting goals that you always have to keep in mind. Okay, these are, to me, there's probably more, but these are the top ones that I like to use. So tip number 1, use a system. Anybody who knows me, anybody who's spent any amount of time with me at all knows I'm a big fan of systems. Systems to me there's no reason in trying to reinvent things if there's already an existing system that you can either use or improve to produce the results that you want. I myself, I love systems. And some of you may know from last year, the system I like to use is SMART goals, but we tweak it a little bit. We tweak it a little bit to be used with our system, the OneSource personal development system. So what is the SMART system? Very, very quickly. S for specific. When you're setting goals, you want to make sure that they're specific. You can't have general, they can't be generic. You got to be as specific on that goal as you can possibly be. So when you're writing down your goals shortly, you want to be very specific with what you're saying. As far as DM, measurable. You have to be able to track, and you have to be able to measure your progress. They have to be achievable. When we talk about being achievable, you have to make sure that you have the ability to go ahead and actually produce the result. And if not, doesn't mean you won't get there. It just means maybe set the bar a little bit lower and build up over a period of time until you have the skills or whatever resources that you're going to require to produce the results. Realistic. when we talk about being realistic, you might have the ability, you might have the skills, but do you really believe that you're going to produce the result? Like if somebody was to say to me tomorrow, you need to produce 100,000 euros within the next 30 days, could you do it? Realistically, I could. I could probably produce a lot more than that if I needed to. Am I going to? Probably not. It all depends on, the reason behind it, but you have to be realistic. And again, we're going to get into it a little bit deeper. And you want it to be timely. Okay, you want to have a date. You want to have a date that basically when you're going to produce that result. So how do we use the SMART goals with the OneSource personal development system? Well, as far as specific, well, we're going to set some goals today, and it's going to be very specific. It's going to be all around the 4 key areas about the relationships, around your health, around your finances, and around your personal growth. And keep in mind, guys, when I'm talking to you about all this, this is what you need to be doing when you're coaching. This is what you need to be doing when you're working with clients. You need to be setting their goals monthly, quarterly, annually around those 4 key areas. You want to be very specific with them, and you want them to be very specific as far as the goals that they're setting for themselves. It's your job to be supporting them. But today you're going to be setting goals for yourself. So when you are, these are the 4 key areas that you're going to be wanting to set them for. As far as measurable, how do we apply that to our system? Once you set your specific goals, how do you measure them? Well, that's the easy bit. We already have that. We already have a tracking system in place. Tracking system being our point system. For those of you who are watching this now, or who will be watching it later on, who maybe aren't part of our network now, don't worry about it. You're going to be introduced to a personal development system that's going to primarily allow you to track through a point system your daily actions that you're taking in all 4 of those key areas. But for now, just know that we do have a way of tracking, we do have a way of measuring the progress. You're going to be putting the data into your dashboard, and you're going to be going ahead and linking up your pleasure and pain to action or inaction. Again, through the science of neuroassociation. And again, for anybody who's not familiar with the system yet, and I say yet, because you're going to be given the opportunity to go ahead and join us here at OneSource and actually be given the support and being introduced to all the training and everything else that we're going to assist you with in creating your own dashboard and your own system. Achievable. What you said about achievable, well, you want to know that you have the skills to do it, but you also want to believe that you have the ability and the skills to do it. You don't want to set yourself up to fail. And that's what happens so often. People set, these big goals that at the end of the day, they really don't believe they can achieve. So you want to make sure that when you're working with a client, when you're setting up goals for yourself, set big goals. I'm not saying, to set small goals. Set big goals, but make sure that you believe you can achieve them, that you have what it's going to take. And if you don't, it doesn't mean you can't achieve it. It just means it may take a little bit longer. You may have to acquire some additional resources, get some more support to go ahead and produce those results. And realistic. What's realistic mean? Well, basically, there's a sweet spot. To me, realistic is primarily where dreams and reality come together. Right in the middle there, there's always a sweet spot where it's, you're pushing yourself, hard enough. It is realistic, but it's on the edge, right between reality and dreams. And as far as timely, well, my suggestion is you should always be setting short and long-term goals. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to set monthly goals, and we're going to set a quarterly goal, but we're going to gear it all towards your annual goal. So that's the system we're going to use. We're going to get into it in a lot more detail as we progress here. But the SMART goal setting system is what we're going to use, and we're going to incorporate that or tailor it to primarily the One Source Personal Development System, our system. So SMART, tip number 2, keep an open mind, guys. Keep an open mind to the point where you're not just looking for the obstacles. So many people, when they start setting goals, what they do is they start trying to think of all the reasons why they can't achieve those goals. Don't be looking for the obstacles. Try to come up with the solutions. Look for, what you can achieve. Look for if you can't achieve it, how could you achieve it? That's where your focus needs to be. Oprah Winfrey, you can have it all, just not all at once. And that's the truth. That's the mindset you have to be. You truly can have whatever you want in life. It might take time, but you can have whatever you want. I always like to say, life is funny. You can have whatever you want, but life always requires you to pay the price, pay it in advance, and pay it in full. As long as you're willing to pay that price, you can have whatever you want in life. Number 3, give yourself a deadline to stop planning and start taking action. So many times when you're working with clients, and I'm guilty of it myself, and I'm sure you are as well, when you set goals for yourself, you plan and plan and plan, and you never really get to the action part. You have to go ahead and set a deadline. And I'm going to help you with that. Primarily what I'm going to suggest that you do, we're going to plan right now. You're going to start taking action in the morning. Ready or not, you're going to dive right in and start working on your goals. So there's going to be no procrastination, no putting things on the long finger or anything like that. What you're going to do is you're going to get stuck in. Number 4, and I'm going to try to pick up the pace here, is when you make a decision, when you set a goal, it's like making a decision. Make it a committed decision. Okay? So many people, and again, I'm guilty of it in the past myself. They make, they make decisions, they set goals, but there's no real commitment to it. I'm a big believer, if you're going to set a goal, if you're going to go ahead and set a target, you better give 110%. You better be committed to achieving that goal, producing that result. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. With the goals that you're going to be setting here today, make sure that it's a committed decision, a commitment to that goal, to follow through, not to give up 2-3 weeks in, because that's what most people do. But we're different than most people, I like to think anyway. And the final one, tell someone. Now, there's a lot of, I suppose, mixed opinions on this one. A lot of people, when they talk about, when you set a goal, you should really just keep it to yourself. Don't share your goals with anybody. I personally, I generally take the opposite approach. Okay, I have no problem sharing goals because, again, what does that do? That puts pressure on me, and that makes me work harder to ensure that I achieve that goal. But I like the philosophy, share your goals selectively with people who will push you forward and encourage you. And that's what we do here, guys. Anybody who's been involved with us for a while now knows that this network that we all belong to, that's what it's about. Supporting each other, in achieving our goals, working with our clients, at pushing them, but supporting them along the way. It's a safe place. So don't ever be, shy about sharing your goals in this group anyway. Because again, that's what it's all about as far as I'm concerned. That's what we're here for. That's what it's all about. And we're lucky. We all have somebody that we can just share our goals with. And you better make sure that you're sharing your goals that you're setting now, which you're the person you're working with, your consultant, your accountability buddy. Now, again, for anybody watching this, either live now or it's going to be watching it down the road at some point in time, this recording, an accountability buddy can be assigned to you. You go, if you contact us here at OneSource, we're more than happy, free of charge, to go ahead and match you up with a consultant who will act as your accountability buddy for a minimum of 30 days free of charge. And they're not only going to support you, but they're going to go ahead and they're going to work with you. They're going to give you some good strategies, some good tips, and they're going to hold you accountable to producing the types of results you want, 100% free of charge. So, but again, everybody here who's involved, we all have that accountability buddy. So when you're setting your goals, next time you have your session, if your consultant isn't here with you now, next time you have that session, make sure that you share your goals, that you go ahead and you ask to be held accountable. And if they're not holding you accountable to the level you want, call them out on it. Okay? You need that support. That's what makes our system work to the point that it does. I mean, it's great to have a dashboard. It's great to have the point system. It's great to go ahead and have the training. But that accountability person, that support person, that consultant, that coach, that's what it's all about. And that's the role you're playing with the people you're working with. So again, we're fortunate enough, we all have accountability buddies. And if you don't have one, go ahead and make sure that you get hold of me, and or get hold of the person who introduced you, or if you found us on YouTube or whatever the case may be, reach out to me, Patrick, at onesourceict.com. The email address will be in the description anyway. Drop me an email, come to our website. We'll go ahead and we'll get you matched up with an accountability buddy who will go ahead and support you, because it's really, really critical that you have that. So those are the tips. So what I'll ask you now is, what's your goal? Okay, we're going to get into the goal setting in a moment here, but surely at this stage you have at least one goal in your mind that you're looking to achieve for 2022. I myself, I've got a host of them. But I would ask you to share, and anybody who I'm going to ask you in a minute, anybody. So if you have a goal, unmute yourself, turn on your cam, whatever you want to do, and let's share some goals very quickly so we can support each other. But me, what do I want? One goal that I have, and this one I thought about. It's a simple one, very simple, and I actually should already have it. But I want to get 1,000 subscribers onto the YouTube channel, and I know 1,000 subscribers is absolutely nothing. But basically, right now we don't have many subscribers. We have like 85, which is nothing. But it's something I've never really put any effort into. And I was thinking about it over the weekend. I was looking at different not goals, but just different platforms that we have. And I thought, we have all this stuff up on YouTube because we use it internally amongst ourselves. I just use it primarily to host the videos that we make is up on YouTube. But we don't ever try to, I never anyway, try to push it. I never try to get subscribers. I don't put keywords or anything else. So that's one of the goals I set for myself. I want to make sure that I get a little bit more active, and I go ahead and I start pushing it a little bit harder, trying to put keywords in there, trying to go ahead and promote it a little bit, try to get some subscribers over to the YouTube channel. And I'll tell you something funny. When I set this goal and I started thinking about it, I had to call bullshit on myself, because I always say that, and I say it to myself so much that I actually believe it. But when I really think about it, the reason I never push YouTube, I think deep down when I really think about it, that's basically, it's measurable to where you can see the results. But I think I was scared. I'm just scared that I'm going to try to promote it or something, and it's not going to, it's not going to take off. And it's like I have to kind of challenge myself now that I think about it. You know, I was just kidding myself all the time when I'm saying, it doesn't really matter. I never put keywords, I never promote it. I'm not into social media and all that stuff. But is that really the truth? Or am I just making excuses? I think when I look deep, I have just been making excuses. So I'm going to make a conscious effort this year that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build that up to a minimum. And again, I know it's a very low figure, especially when you see people with 1 million subscribers and everything else out there. But I'd like to get it up to at least 1,000 this year. And anybody watching right now, you can help me out. If you're not subscribed already to the channel, do me a favor, go look us up on YouTube, One Source Personal Development. Subscribe to the channel. But I'll open it up. Does anybody have any goals that they want to share before we kind of get stuck in here? And I'm hoping that someone's going to have the courage, at least a few of you, to go ahead and unmute and go ahead and share a goal that they want to set this year. Don't leave me hanging, guys.
I'll go ahead. It's Nadine here. Hello, everybody.
Very good.
Hello. I have many.
Yeah, very good.
So one of them really resonates with what you just said about YouTube. I've been procrastinating for a whole year to have coaching on Instagram. And I've written lots of quotes and told myself I just don't know how to do it. But you can go on YouTube and, learn how to do it. And I procrastinated and procrastinated. And then I said to myself on New Year's Eve, I'm just going to do this. And I have a younger brother who's good at technology, and I made him show me, and I posted my first post on the 2nd of January. But now I need to be consistent, take daily action and be consistent and carry on doing it. So that's one of the things. And then from a health perspective, it is to lose some weight and be fit, but not just for looks, but just more of a, for myself, be healthy, be happy with myself. And I'll stop there.
That's fantastic. No, look, I appreciate it very much. And you're going to go ahead. We're going to do the goal setting workshop now. You're going to have an opportunity to get very specific as far as what you're looking to achieve. But that was fantastic. I appreciate that, Nadine. Nadine is actually new to the group, guys. She's just recently came on board there. So you're more than welcome. Really excited to have you part of the network, actually. Really excited to have Nadine as part of the network. So who else is going to join in? Who else is going to share a goal? We'll do a couple of them and then we'll get into it.
Okay, well, I'll scream and shout it out. Why not? Right, so like before, and like yourself, Patrick, I've got quite a big basket of goals that I would like to actually succeed in this year. But I'm going to break it down. I'm pretty sure one of them you can guess. But for relationships, I would love to improve my relationship with myself, because I think, as we all do, I am the queen of procrastination. And to be honest with you, that level of myself does my nut. So I really want to get to a point where I'm confident in my own thoughts and, and my progression. So that's one thing. Obvious ones also, lose weight. I've got very specific goals written down for that. And quitting smoking, would you believe?
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to bring that one up, actually. Good
yeah.
For you. So we can hold you accountable now on that one.
Yes.
What's the date? When are you going to quit?
See, funny enough, I haven't really specified that bit yet. It's a strange one. I can't possibly think why. I'm not sure.
Well, you're going to be sure. By the time we get
happen.
done today, you need to be sure.
Yes.
You got to be very specific. And what did I say about commitment? You got to make a committed decision. So when you make that decision to quit smoking, and I know it's been a struggle of yours for a while now.
Yes, indeed.
So, but when we're doing this now and you make that committed decision, you have to stick to it. Okay? Yeah, because you look, you know you can achieve it. And realistically, you know you can do it. Now it's
Oh,
just a
I know.
matter of
Oh,
making
yeah,
that
I know.
commitment. I know you're scared too, even when we start talking about it, you're probably getting panic stage. But you know, you really need to. And again, I don't judge anybody because trust me, I grew up in a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. I get it. But trust me, you'll be so, so happy.
Yeah,
once
it's
when
it's
you
up
give
there.
that
It's
up.
definitely in my top 3.
Very good. Well, I think it should be your top one, but that's for you to decide. So very good. But thanks, Catherine. Really appreciate you sharing. Okay, let's do one more, guys.
I'd like to share, if that's okay, Patrick.
Yeah, Steve, of course. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Let me put my camera on briefly. Hi, everyone. So I've been with OneSource for, I think it's 9-10 months now, and I've improved in all my 4 key areas. Having said that, I continually review and evolve my dashboard and my activities, and for the next year, I've got a couple of more specific ones. So getting my NLP business and OneSource businesses off the ground, which
Very
I've
good.
been working on. I'm really starting to grow them, taking regular, consistent action.
You
Very
have been
important.
taking one thing I'll say, Steve, you've been taking a lot of action and you're starting to produce results. So well done on that. Steve's been
It's
very active.
so
And
much. Continuing it, isn't it, Patrick?
yeah, and you talk about that, yeah, continuous action. You do.
Indeed.
You take consistent action with everything you're doing. So I have no doubt you will do that. But that's great that that's one of your goals. Fantastic.
So
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off though. Go ahead, Steve.
No, boy. So, I mean, I've got goals in all my key areas. I'll just share 2 others. So my health goals have been very specific around rest, just resting, having a cut-off point, sleep, and exercising regularly. So they're very specific, and I'll continue those. Now, in my relationships, which I do very well in, and I've been improving in, I've noticed, and I'm going to set a specific goal to be kinder to myself and to really allow me to grow and be myself no matter what, and grow my own confidence and read people better, and just generally use all of this to, continually grow my confidence and work my courage muscle, as I put it, in particular areas I struggle with. And that does include being present and focusing on one thing, I've noticed. So particularly with those closest to me. So that is a very specific relationship action to take more courage to do that. So yeah.
Well done, Steve. Well done. Outstanding. Fantastic. So look, that's great. We're going to get into it now because I'm just going to keep track of time here because I know, oh wow, we're gone on a good bit already, but that's great. So look, let's go ahead and get stuck in. What I want to do, guys, and thanks everybody for sharing, by the way, I really appreciate that. We want to set some goals. What we're going to do now is we're going to focus on 90-day goals. Okay? But we're going to do it in such a way a little bit different than you might have done in the past. What we're going to do is we're going to work backwards. Okay? And when I say work backwards, primarily what I want to do is I want you to, I guess, set the goal, envision where do you want to be in 90 days? And then we're going to just kind of work backwards from there to where you are right now. But what I want you to do is, for those of you who have a dashboard, if you I should have told you at the beginning, and I apologize. If you have it open, fantastic. If not, don't worry about it. You can go ahead and you could just take notes. For people watching this right now, or if anybody joined us hasn't been assigned a dashboard yet, don't worry about it. You can go ahead. You're going to get a dashboard. You're going to go ahead. All these things that you are going to be presented and given to you free of charge. But again, if you don't fully understand it, it's okay, because what you can do is just take notes. What I want you to do is focus on March 31st, and we're going to work our way backwards. So what if you can open up your dashboards, that's great because you can do it in real time with me right now. If you don't have the dashboard or don't have access to it, don't worry about it. Just take notes. But just know we're going to work from the end of March back. And what I want you to do, if you do have the dashboard open and access to it, I want you to go to the goals section. So in the March tab, I want you to go to the goals section, and that area there, you know, with, where we have our goals, were the 4 key areas: relationships, health, growth, and finances. And if you don't have the dashboard, just do me a favor, write down those 4 key areas onto a piece of paper: relationships, health, growth, and finances. And what we're going to do now is, I tell you what, I'm just going to, here we go. You know, I had it somewhere. Apologies for that. So this is the dashboard, and this is the example dashboard it's just an example that I made so I can show you what I want you to do here. So you're going to go into the March tab, and primarily what you want to do is you want to go over to the area there with the 4 key areas, and where it says the words relationships, health, growth, and finances, I just want you to right click into that and insert a note. See where, if you right click, you'll go down here to where it says insert note. Then what I want you to do is, whatever your most important relationship goal is, just pick one. Rather it be with yourself, like you had said, Steve, or rather it be with your partner, your kids, your creator, your friends, your family, your mother, father, brother, sister, whoever. It doesn't matter. But just write down whatever one that is most important that you want to focus on, and they're all important, guys, but we're talking about our goals for 30 days. I'm sorry, 90 days. What's the most important relationship that you want to focus on over the next 90 days? And put it in there. Like, if, say for an example, if I was just to type in myself. Okay. Now, what would the best result be? So primarily, when you're looking to achieve that goal with your relationship with yourself, what would the result be? What would it look like in March? And just for an example, just taking a page out of your book, Steve, if you were to say, you know, kinder to myself. And again, you can be very specific with it, guys, but put as much detail in there as you can. But envision what that relationship would be, who that relationship would be with, and what would the outcome be? If it could be, I'll just throw you some very quick examples so you get a better understanding. If, say for example, say you're not in a relationship, but you would like to be, I mean, a romantic relationship. Well, maybe you'll put down that primarily you want a boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever, significant other. That primarily you put that in there, and then put in there primarily, what would it be kind of like? What would you want out of that relationship? And you don't have to be, we're not going to be very specific now because I'm just showing you how to do it. I want you to go back and I want you to do this after. But when you're done with that, do the same thing for your health. Again, just right click. And again, if you don't have access now, guys, just write it down. Insert a note. And for your health, we're going to say, whatever you want your health, like, okay, stop smoking. For Catherine. Okay? She's gonna stop smoking. You're gonna stop smoking, whatever the case may be. That's the health goal. That's where you're gonna be at in 90 days. Okay? And then you're gonna put one in for your personal growth. So you got your relationships, you got your health, you got your personal growth, and whatever the case may be there, you might say, again, I'm only going to make an example up here. We're going to say first draft of book. First draft. Maybe you're thinking about writing a book. Book. You're going to put that in there. And then your finances. Okay. Again, whatever and you're going to have many more goals than this, as you know. But whatever your goals are for your finances in 90 days, what's that result you would like to see? And again, just an example, you guys do it now with me to the best of your ability. And when we're done, you're going to continue on with this. But you're fine. Let's just say, for an example, if I was working with somebody, and this is what you're going to be doing when you're working with clients, by the way, guys. You're doing it for yourself now, but when you're working with clients, you should be doing this in real time, and you should be doing it with them and supporting them and encouraging them and offering solutions. But let's say, for an example, I was working with somebody and they said, yeah, with my finances in 90 days time, I want my credit cards paid off in full. Okay, so now you know that these are the major goals. Again, you're going to have a bunch of smaller goals, but these are the main ones that for the next 90 days in your relationship, your health, your growth, and your finances that you want to really direct your focus to. Again, remember, focus, balance, and purpose. This is where it's going to be your key focus. So when you're setting things up, when you're setting up your actions, you always want to keep these in mind. You always want to be in a position that you can draw upon them. That's why we're putting the notes in. But also, too, you know where you want to be at the end of the 90 days. Okay? Doesn't mean you have to have it completed. Maybe that goal for the finances is really, it could be at the end of the year to have 10,000 sterling saved. But before you can do that, you have to pay off the credit card. Because again, we're going to continue this on through the entire year, but we're starting at 90 days. I don't like to go too far in advance. I like it to be very measurable and very achievable. And I want it to be realistic. So that's what you want to keep in mind. So hopefully that makes some sense to you. But now what we're going to do, remember I said we're going to work backwards. So if these are the goals, and I'm just going to cheat here, I'm just going to copy those, then where would you have to be in February? So those are the goals for March. That's the end result that you're looking for in those 4 key areas. And guys, you can do more than that. These are just examples, by the way. So where would you have to be in February in order to produce those results in March? So primarily, sorry, I did that wrong. Apologies. Get rid of that. And I will put those here. So if in March you want to produce the result of being kinder to yourself, well, what would the goal be then in February? You know, it could be you want to make sure that you're spending and 1 hour a day, 1 hour, again, just an example, per day. Doing something special just for me. Okay, again, only an example, guys. I'm just going fast here. Health, stop smoking. Okay, well, you're not going to be done yet, but maybe right now, maybe you're at 20 cigarettes a day. I don't know. But maybe by the end of February, you want to be down to 8 cigarettes a day. And again, just an example. So you know that, you know, the end goal is by the end of March, you want to be off them completely. But by the end of February, you want to be down to 8 cigarettes a day. Okay, so you're going to go there. And then for growth, you want the first draft of a book done by March. So you want to have whatever, first whatever. Well, again, I'll just say first 100 pages complete. That's your goal. Okay, so you know by the end of February, you want to have the first 100 pages complete. Then with the finances, okay, you want the credit cards paid off in full. Credit cards paid off, and we'll just say, again, just, I don't know what the credit card debt is, but say 50%. Okay, whatever your current balance is, you want to have 50% of it paid off by the end of February. But that's what I mean when I say working backwards. So when you're working with a client, when you're setting goals for yourself, or you're working with a client and you're setting goals, you know, set the end date, figure out what the result is, and then step by step, go back and map it out. Then what are we going to do? We're going to go into January. This is where you are right now. Okay, so again, if we know that with the relationships, where are you starting out from? But what do you want to do? You want to stop negative self-talk. That's your goal for the end of the month. You want to stop all the negative self-talk. So you're going to all month for the month of January really focus on that. And again, only example, guys, you know, I think you get the picture. But depending on what the goal is, and we're saying that if next month you're going to be down to, I think it was 8 cigarettes we said for the example. And you're starting off at 20. Right now you're at 20 a day. So you want to be down to by the end of the month, whatever, we're going to say 12 cigarettes a day. Okay. Growth, you have the first 100 pages done. So maybe by the end of next year, you want to have first 50 pages done of book completed. And for the finances, you want to have that credit card paid off in full. You want to have it halfway done by the end of next month. So we're just going to say credit card paid off, credit card reduced by 250 pounds or 250. I'm going to say euros up. Sorry, guys. Don't know what I did there. I hit the wrong button. But you get what I'm saying, by whatever, 250 pounds, 250 euros. I'm going to say euros because I'm in Ireland. So whatever the case may be. But again, so now you're at the point where you're in January, you know, and again, you can do this on paper, just work your way backwards, guys. But you know where you are all the way. So what's your goal for January? I'm going to stop negative self-talk for my relationships, my relationship with myself. That's my number one goal. As far as, you know, my health goal, what's my health goal? Well, I want, by the end of the month, I want to be down to 12 cigarettes per day. Your growth. Well, I want this month, I got to make sure that I got the first 50 pages of my book completed. You know, for my finance, I'm going to pay off a minimum of 250 euros on my credit card bill this month. So, you know, for January, those are the targets. Okay. Then for February, you already have them. You already know where they're at, but you're going to measure it. You're going to see if you're on track based on how you wound up in January. But you've already got, you know what you want for your relationships with yourself. You know you're going to be down to 8 cigarettes now. You know that you're going to have the first 100 pages done now. And you know that you're going to have your credit card bill, whatever it is, say it was 1,000, make the math easy. You've paid off 250. Now you're going to get up to where it was paid off by half. So you're going to have another 250, so 500 in total, example. So hopefully that makes some sense. Then you're going to have the same thing for March. This is the month that you're going to complete it. You're going to be kinder to yourself. That's the end result you're looking for on that. So, you know, by the end of the month, that's where you have to get to. Whatever tool of measuring that you're going to put in there, you're going to be off the cigarettes completely by this time. You're going to go ahead, you're going to have the first draft completed. And then you're going to have your finances, you're going to have your credit card, your credit card bill paid off completely. But now you can continue. You could do the same thing, because these probably, chances are, were not the end results that you were looking for. We're taking it in bits here. Again, daily consistent action, and you're working your way back. So now what I would suggest you would do is, again, when you're working with the client, like if I was working with you and we're doing a session, fantastic, we're in March, you've completed your targets, all your goals. Now let's go ahead and let's go into June. June 30th, let's work our way back. You know, June, May, April. You're going to do the same type of things. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. But I tell you what we're going to do now. We're going to go back into January, back into real time, where we're at right now. And you have your key areas here. Okay, now you know with those 4 key areas, whatever the situation may be. So if we're starting, say, with relationships, well, we know that primarily what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we have our key areas. That's the one with myself. So you can go in there and you can type specifically exactly what because that's the one you're most focused on. You do the same with the health. You can really fine tune it a lot, but also too, you have all the other areas that you should be focusing on. Okay, they might not be your primary goal for this quarter, but you're still going to focus on them, and you're going to say whatever, you know, this is my I'm going to say my wife. Okay, you put whoever you want. I'm going to say my kids. And these are obviously going to be the actions, but the majority of you will notice. And again, guys, I do apologize. Anybody who hasn't used this dashboard yet, please get hold of me. We're going to assign you accountability buddy. Sorry, wrong one. We're going to assign you accountability buddy who's going to teach you how to use this. You're going to get access to a complete training set of training for 30 days. That's going to teach you step by step how to set up your own dashboard designed around your own personal growth that you're hoping to achieve. I'm going to say my kids, and I'm doing this wrong, but that's okay. I'm terrible under pressure. And whatever you want the 4th one to be. But you guys get the idea anyway. And I'm just going to say whatever I'm going to say, my creator. Okay, so those are the other ones that you're going to focus on as well. But this is the main one. Okay, that's the most, I'm not saying that the others are important, but that's the one that your primary goal is going to be in. That's where you're going to really, really hold yourself accountable. So when you're working with your consultant, because you've shared with that individual, they know they've actually set this up with you, and you'll be setting it up with the people you're working with. That's what you need to be doing on your next sessions. What you're going to be able to do, you're going to make sure that, because again, you know, when you go over to the goals, because you're going to be setting their goals with them at the beginning of the month. Sorry. Terrible. So You're going to be going ahead and you're going to be setting the goals with them. You're going to every week, I'm sorry, when you're doing your one-to-ones, you're going to really zone in on that one. And when you're looking at where they are currently, as far as what their point value is, their scores are, you want to make sure that they are on track and hold them accountable. You want to make sure that you get full visibility during the week, that in advance of your session, you're going ahead and you're making sure that they're on track, that they're taking the actions that's going to produce the results. Your job is to not only support them, but to hold them accountable. Okay, so, and again, it's your consultant's job to do that for you. Ultimately, it's always up to the individual. But our jobs as personal development consultants is to go ahead and support and hold those individuals accountable. So now that you know exactly what their primary goal is in each one of those key areas, it's a lot easier to go ahead and hold that individual accountable. So hopefully that makes some sense to you. But I'm just picking up the pace here because it's definitely, I probably went on a bit longer than I should have, and we still got a lot to cover. But it's simple enough, you know yourself, that primarily, just me go into full mode there from the current slide. So just to recap very quickly, you're going to start in March. You're going to work your way backwards to February, and you're going to wind up in January. Then what you want to do is make sure that when you're setting up your actions, or when you're setting up the actions with the individuals, that primarily what you're doing is you're establishing that baseline. What do I mean by that? Where are you now? Okay, January 4th, you're getting started. Where are you with your relationships? Where are you with your level of health and fitness? Where are you with your growth? Where are you with your finances? Because once you understand that, and you should all have a good idea, well, then you just have to figure out what standard that you have to hold yourself accountable to in order to produce the result. So we all know the standard chart. And again, anybody who's not familiar, you'll be trained in this, you'll get access to it. But all it is a tool of measure based on our point system to make a determination of how consistent you have to be with your actions to produce the result that you want. So now that you've set the goal for January, for an example, you have to take a look. What standard do I have to hold myself to in that particular area, across the board, but in that particular area, to produce my result? Do I have to be really good? Do I have to be great? Do I have to really put the head down and go hard and hold myself to an amazing standard to produce the result? But that's where you're going to go ahead and when you're working with your consultant, when you're setting your goals, that's the number that needs to go in there. Because that's how you're going to be held accountable. That's how you're going to track yourself. Then you want to go ahead and set the rest of the key areas for the overall average. And again, I know I sound like I'm just repeating myself, but for all the people, I'm just conscious of the people who aren't familiar with this now. For the people who maybe haven't used the dashboard yet, you're going to be trained in it. Trust me, all of this is going to make perfect sense when it's all done. But when you're going ahead and you're setting your goals, these are the standards that you got to put in there. So if your relationships, for an example, if you decide that, well, I have to be really good to produce that result, well, you're going to go back here, really good, you're going to be putting in a 0.75. Okay, to health, that's going to be a tough one. I don't know if I can even do it, but I'm going to really, really try. I'm going to have to really put in an amazing effort, hold myself to an amazing standard. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to go in here, amazing, you're going to put in your 0.8750, and so on and so forth for your growth, your finances, based on where you need to be to produce the result for that particular month. Okay, so hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. But then all you have to do is what? You have to align your actions. Now that you know what the goal is, you know the standard that you have to hold yourself to. So now you just need to make sure that those actions that you're taking align up with whatever standard you're holding yourself accountable to. So primarily, if you're in a situation where you're setting, a goal for, we'll talk about the health, cigarettes. Okay, so what actions are you're gonna, okay, by the end of the month, you want to be down to whatever we said, I can't remember, 12 cigarettes. Well, go ahead and set your for the first part of the month. Okay, you're at 20 now. I need to cut down starting tomorrow to 16 cigarettes a day. Whatever. Again, I'm not a smoker, so I don't really know. But whatever whatever you feel is the measure, that's what you're going to put in. What other actions are you going to have to take? Put them in there. So, and you're going to do the same with your health, your relationships, your growth, and your finances. So, but very quickly, what we'll do is, and I was going to dedicate a bit more time, but I'm just going to run through the examples because I'm being a bit long-winded. I apologize for that. But what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to set your goals now, okay, to the best of your ability. But what are the relationships that you're looking to focus on? Because remember the 4 things that we do: focus, balance, purpose. Then we mix in the science of neuroassociative conditioning into our system. But the 3 key ones: focus, balance, and purpose. So when it comes to relationships, what are the relationships that are important to you for June? I'm sorry, not June, just for January. What are the relationships you want to focus on? So I'm gonna have to edit that bit out now. So let's just take a couple minutes, but what are the ones that you want to focus on? Take a bit of time to write them down, insert them into your dashboard. But the first one that we should all have, obviously, is our relationship with ourselves. But you decide. It's not for me to tell you what you need to be putting in there. Your partner, do you have a romantic relationship? Do you have a significant other? Do you have a partner? If you don't, that's fine. Do you want one? Some do, some don't. You might have a partner and you might be thinking, I don't want to. I want to get rid of them. I don't know. That's your situation, your decision. But make it, is it going to be, we're going to come up with the 4 key areas that we're going to focus on. 4 particular relationships. You have yourself. Who's the next one? Is it your family? You want to spend time focusing on your family? Is it your friends? Are they the most important one? Is it your work colleagues that you want to make sure that you go ahead and, you're spending, time with, and you're really focused on for the month of January, on those relationships with your work colleagues? Is it your creator? Maybe that's really important to you. Is it your creator? Include in one of those, you got 4 spots, and you can double up on some, so you can have as many as you want. But, do you want to include your creator? Could be your pets. There's a lot of animal lovers out there, myself included. I love dogs. I don't mind cats. I got some cats around that just primarily kill the mice, but we live out in the country. But I prefer dogs. But whatever the case may be, do you want to include them in there? That's okay. It's a relationship. But, or Is it just going to be everyone you come into contact with? You know, I have somebody that basically I have the first relationship is with myself, that I make sure that I have a good, strong relationship with my partner to the best of my ability. Don't always succeed, but do the best that I can. Then I go ahead and I put down my kids. Then I get so many others, I just group them all together. I say everybody else. But you put the 4 that are important to you. And again, the main thing is, I know most of you have already done this, but to evaluate it, are they still relevant? What level, what are the actions you're going to take then to maintain those relationships? What standard are you going to hold yourself accountable to? Are you going to encourage your consultant, your accountability buddy? What standard are you going to ask them to hold you accountable to? Then just take a bit of time. Let's move on to the health and fitness. And again, I apologize if I'm going through it a bit quick, but what are the 4 key areas you're going to focus on? Obviously, if we're going by our example, one of them is going to be the smoking. But what else are you going to focus on? What else are you going to need to give you the strength? The level of energy to go ahead and not only live your life to the best standard, but to be able to face the challenge of stopping smoking, if that's what the goal is. But is it sleep? You have to make sure that you're getting enough sleep every day. You know, hydration, yeah, are you getting enough water? You know, exercise. You need to start eating more veg, fruit. Stop all the crap food that you're eating. And maybe one of the actions you want to take is like myself, I'm a big calorie counter. You know, but what's it going to take to quit those cigarettes? You can see, Catherine, I knew you were going to speak up. That's why I put that in there. Or maybe you want to cut down on the wine. You got some negative things that you want to cut down on. So in addition, maybe that's a trigger for you as well. Maybe every time you have a glass of wine, yeah, you feel compelled to smoke. But whatever you feel are the things that are not only going to help you with your goal, but the things that also are going to support you in that area overall. But come up with the 4 key ones. If you need to double up, if you have 8, you can put 2 in each box. Doesn't matter. But make a decision and make a committed decision that those are the ones that you're going to focus on, and then come up with the actions. And again, you're not going to have time to do this now, but we can continue on after. And you can go ahead and make sure that you evaluate them and make sure they still align. Remember what we're doing here? We're making sure that the actions align with the goal. Okay? So if the goal is X, and you know you have to live at a certain standard, what actions will you have to produce consistently to go ahead and maintain that standard? That's what it's all about. And then you're going to do the same for your area of growth, and maybe some things you want to focus on as far as your growth. Maybe you want to take up photography. Maybe you want to learn to play the piano. Maybe you just want to read more. You know, maybe you want to start writing that book that we all have inside of us. You know, maybe you want to start a podcast. Whatever you want to do, those are the things that you want to put in those headings, but commit to them. Don't just put them in there. Commit to them, and then design the actions. What are you going to have to do? How much time are you going to have to spend every day working on developing your podcast, or every week, or, you know, are you just going to start a journal? Are you going to spend 15 minutes a day just keeping a journal? Fantastic. Put it in there. You're going to learn to golf. You're going to learn how to cook. You know, all great goals, but what are your goals? What are your objectives for that area of personal growth? You need to take some online courses. You have some skill that you want to learn. And then we're going to do the same for the finances. Okay. again, we got the 4 key areas. You're going to do it for your relationships. You're going to do it for your level of health and fitness. You're going to do it for your personal growth. And you're going to do it for your finances. But what are the things you're going to focus on in the finances? You need to come up with a minimum of 4. A minimum. You can put as many as you like, but a minimum of 4. You know, do you need to focus on how many hours a day you're actually working? Are you working enough hours, or do you need to work more? Are you working too many? Do you need to reduce it? But that's a big part of your finances, obviously. That's what's generating your revenue. You know, are you giving 100% when you're on the job? Or are you just, you know, giving small percentages that total up to 100% at the end of the week? But are you giving 100% each and every day? Is that the standard you need to hold yourself accountable to? Well, then put it in there. You know, what about your budget? Do you have a budget? Are you sticking to a budget? You know, critical stuff when it comes to the finances. Do you need to reduce your spendings? If you're having a problem with the budget, you need to look at it. Do you need to spend less, or do you need to do something if you can't maintain it? Increase that budget and start earning more money. But these are all things you got to be looking at consistently. You know, what are you doing with your savings? Are you able to save? And if you're not, well, you better figure out how you're going to do it. You better get with your consultant and come up with a strategy of what you can do to increase your savings. You need to worry about your retirement. What about that emergency plan? What happens if, God forbid, something happens next month, the month after? You have enough to deal with any emergencies. If not, you better direct your focus to it and come up with a plan. My suggestion would be spend some time really, really analyzing your finances, where you are really. You need to get some type of side hustle. I don't know. Again, I'm just throwing up suggestions, guys. It's up to you. You know, decide. Do you need, as Steve said, to really focus on the one source? Is that your side hustle, or is that your core business? Or are you just using it for personal growth, personal development? But if you want the opportunity to earn money, you have it right there with one source. But again, requires work. But do you need to focus more on your activity and in your side hustle, in your business? Whatever you want to refer to it as, it's different for everybody. You know, what about your investment? Are you investing? You don't need a lot of money to invest, guys. You can do it with small bits of money. I suggest get yourself an app. I used to Revolut. You can buy anything first. You can trade gold. You can trade, cryptocurrencies. You can trade stocks and bonds. Everything through the app on Revolut. But Revolut's not unique. There's a ton of them. That's just the one that I use. But again, and you don't have to do big money. You can do £5. The money that you're saving when you quit smoking, the money when you start you're earning when you're more active with one source, whatever the case may be, whatever you're doing to generate or reduce your spending, to generate more or to reduce your outgoings, invest that money. Like 5, 10, 20 sterling, euros, whatever, dollars a month. But even on Revolut, you can even buy and sell, foreign currencies. But again, it doesn't take much at all. But are you doing it? Are you getting enough value for your money? Meaning every penny you're spending, are you maximizing? Are you shopping around for the best deal? Are you getting the best quality stuff? Are you researching the products that you're buying to ensure that they're going to produce the results and they're going to last, and the corporation that you're buying it from is going to stand behind that warranty, whatever the case may be. But are you getting, good value? Are you looking at your taxes? This is one that always amazes me when I work with people. I work with some people in really high tax brackets, and they don't take advantage of the tax breaks that are out there, and they don't maximize their portfolio in such a way that it's going to reduce their taxes. And that's the quickest way, depending on what income bracket you're in, but I don't care. Even if it's, a small amount, you need to be looking at reducing that tax bill. I'm not suggesting for a second anybody ever cheat the tax man, but what I don't encourage is paying more than your fair share. What about your pension? Do you have a pension? A lot of you are young. When you're old like me, trust me, you'll understand. Pension's important. But the time to start it when you're young. But start, thinking about a pension, looking into a pension, invest in small amounts into a pension. But when you're all done with all of your key areas and you reach the end of the month, so it's the end of January and you're looking at, all of, what you produced that month, all your activities. And again, the dashboard, get in touch if you need one. I'll get you set up. I'll get you trained. Then it's time to review. Are you on track? So you know where you want to be in March. You've set goals for January, February, and March. You've worked with your consultant that is there with you and help you to set those goals. You're going to do this with others. So primarily, what do? At the end of the month, you review them. How, if you had to live to a certain standard of 0.75 because you had to have a really, really good month in your relationships, for an example, or in your health, whatever the case may be, did you hit those targets? And if you didn't, it's okay. But now you need to make an adjustment going forward, because you know where you're going to have to be in February, and you know where you're going to have to be in March. That's the beauty of working backwards. So if you don't hit the target, which you should be committed to it and you should be given 110%, but God forbid if you don't hit that target, well, at least then you can make adjustments. You review them, you adjust. You're held accountable. You're gonna be held accountable by your accountability buddy, your consultant, who's there to support you and there to work with you. And that is what you're doing with others. Again, even though I'm teaching you how to do this for yourself, you need to make sure that you understand it in full, and you're going to learn by doing. But then you need to take it forward, and you need to be doing this with the clients you're working with. And ultimately, what you're going to use is the ultimate success formula. What is that? You're going to decide what you want. You set your goals. You're going to start taking action, massive action, starting in January, working towards March. But then you're going to evaluate, along the way, because you're tracking yourself. You're going to notice what's working, what's not. And if it's not working, what are you going to do? You're going to change your approach. It's not the action that you're pushing for. It's that goal. It's that result that you're looking to achieve. Then you're going to repeat it in February, and you're going to repeat it in March. Then going forward, you're going to go up to June. You're going to go back a month. You're going to go back a month. So June, May, April. You're going to do the exact same thing. When you get to June, you're going to go up 3 months. You're going to work back. When you get there, you're going to work back again. And you can continue that for the entire year. But that's how you're going to wind up with the best year you've ever had. It's a great time come January. Now is the time to start. But just remember, nothing worthwhile is ever going to really be done alone. You have a supportive group around you. You have your consultant. Okay, you have us as a network, as a group, support you. Take part, get involved, share, go ahead and work with, your consultant, open up to them, tell them what's really important to you, and, set those goals. Ask them if they're not holding you accountable enough, ask them for more support. If you need me to step in, get in touch with me personally. I'll support you. I'll have a talk with your consultant. I'll do whatever needs to be done to make sure that you would produce the results you're looking for. You know, Mel Robbins says, the price of your new life is your old one. You can't have a foot in both. You know, if you want to move forward into your new life, you're going to have to leave the old one behind. Bits of it anyway. And that can be scary at times, but you have to commit to it because you know it's worth it. It's the new life is the life you want. But I'm going to wrap it up with this, and I apologize. We have gone a little bit over, so I do apologize, but I'm going to wrap it up with this. Very interesting, I find. Inc. magazine, the cover of Inc. magazine, a study of 800 million activities predicts most New Year's resolutions will be abandoned by January 19th. That amazes me. Totally amazes me. But 800 million activities analyzed, I got to believe is pretty accurate. But that's what most people do. But it's not what you're going to do. It's not what we do. I'm not saying we're special because we're nothing special. But we have a system. We have a proven system. We have a network of like-minded people to support us and support each other. We have accountability buddies and consultants, you know, to work with us, to hold us accountable, but also provide solutions and support along the way. I don't want you to be one of those people. Okay? Commit to that decision. Make a committed decision now that you're going to continue. We're going to wrap it up here now, but you don't have to wrap it up. You continue the rest of the night, devote some time, work on that plan. Work, you know, go through it in detail. Start with March, then go into February, then go into January, then start, you know, setting your standards as far as what level do you have to be at, what standard you got to be held accountable to, then make sure that your activities match your goal, your standards that you're going to have to live to. That's all it's going to take. And I know it's going to be a bit of work. Nobody ever said it's going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. I want this time next year, each and every one of you to be able to say you had an amazing year. You had a great year. You know, when you're talking to so many people because of the pandemic, you'll be talking to your friends, your family, your colleagues, and everybody be, 2021 was crap. I don't think it was. I mean, yeah, there was problems. There was pandemic and everything else. I didn't get to do all the things I wanted. But I know because I tracked myself all year, for me, it was a really good year. I want you to be able to do the same. And some of you, I know for a fact that have, because you've done it. But the system works, guys. But you got to work the system. So look, we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up at that. Primarily, I want to thank everybody for coming. I do apologize. I was a little long-winded, went a little bit longer than I intended. So I do apologize for that. But other than that, guys, questions, comments, concerns, I'm available after this. I know we did a lot here. We threw a lot of information at you. You have any questions, any comments at all? If you haven't got a dashboard, reach out to me. Reach out to me directly. You can email me at patrick@onesource, OneSourceict.com, or go on to the OneSource ICT website, and you can contact us through that as well. But we want to support you. We want to match you up with a accountability buddy, and get you that consultant and get you the training in the system, because the system works. So look, guys, other than that, you need anything at all, I'm here for you. And wish everybody a happy new year and look forward to seeing you all again very soon. All right. Thanks, guys.